It is that stage of the season where we look back on all of our predictions. And I'm not going to lie to you, I think I've done alright. Some were very good and spot on, and others were absolutely shocking. If we hit 1,000 likes in this video, then I'll react to my League 2 predictions. And I'm very interested, how did your club do this season? Comment it down below. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers, so if you are new, please subscribe. We are 15,000 away. Please help me out. Without further ado, let's begin with the first team, Barnsley. Now, I predicted them 4th place. They actually finished 6th. So I'm not going to lie, I pretty much got that spot on. They got a playoff spot, and that's where I predicted them. I was very bang on. They had a really bad run of form towards the end of the season, which resulted in the manager getting sacked. And if it wasn't for that, they may have actually finished 4th. But that's the weird thing, sacking your manager at the end of the season where you've actually got something to fight for, like the playoffs. The one thing the players need going into a massive game, home and away versus Bolton, is a leader, is a manager. And they go and sack him. It just makes no sense to me. If they had good form, bad form, they had to have a manager going into this. But the one thing they do have is a very good record against Bolton, especially in the playoffs. We all know what happened last year. That could give them a lot of hope, and especially a lot of confidence. But then again, no manager, they need a miracle really. We're going up to the northwest, Blackpool. Now they finished 8th, I predicted 6th, a playoff spot. Did they get that? No, they didn't. They had a really strong end to the season, but they were just too inconsistent throughout it. The standout player for the Tangerines this season was Dembele, on loan from Brest in midfield, scoring 8, assisting 13. He's been incredible. Blackpool are a big side, and I'm sure they'll be up there next season, so that my prediction will probably be the same as what I did for this season. They were very close, 3 points away, but nevertheless, they finished 8th. Moving on to Bolton. Now this one is actually spot on. I predicted 3rd, and they finished 3rd. If I'm honest, the Bolton fans are probably not so happy with that position. Bolton had so many games in hand, but they just can never capitalise on it. I'm not going to lie, I'm very happy that I've actually predicted a team and actually got it spot on. Josh Sheehan assisting 12. He's been a massive player for the Whites this season. Playoffs will have to do against Barnsley, but knowing their record, I wouldn't be so confident. Bristol Rovers. Now, my prediction was 12th, and they actually finished 15th. In my eyes, I think I've got it pretty much spot on. It's in that mid-table range, nothing to play for at the top, nothing to play for down the bottom. It's in that region in the middle where they've got nothing. It's just been a bang average season, hasn't it? So what more do I say? There isn't, is there? Oh my God, I've just seen who I'm about to read out next. So I predicted Burton Albion to finish 7th. It went down to the final day and they nearly got relegated. They literally scraped it on the final day. They lost to Fleetwood 3-0 away from home in a game which they needed to win, but because Cheltenham lost, they survived. So I predicted 7th, they finished 20th. That is by far the worst one in this video, I'll tell you that now. But what was I thinking? Why did I think they were going to be so high up in the table? I wish I can give you the answers, folks. I think it was just a potluck guess. Now, moving on to the next one, and the club I've been associated with this season, working on content behind the scenes, videos with players in the boardroom, owner. Honestly, I've done everything with this club. Cambridge United, and this is going to sound like a fix. But before the season started, I predicted 18th. They finished 18th, didn't they? Yeah, I got that one spot on. It genuinely just sounds fixed, doesn't it? I can assure you it's not. Absolutely not. It went down to the final day, but we got the job done, getting a draw. Cheltenham lost, and obviously Burton lost, so that's fine. We done our job and stayed up. But I think I've also got to give a credit to the players in the squad this season. The fact they've been through 3 different managers this season, and have not given up once, always been fully committed to the badge. Okay, there's been times where it has been a little bit sticky. They've always overcome their moments and stick as a unit, and do you know what? I've been there behind the scenes in the training grounds. They've always been together, and you can tell there's never a divide in that squad. Speaking to the owners the other night, the club is in such a good position. They love the club, they're so ambitious. Stadium development coming soon, got a new training ground. But credit where it's due, when you've got 3 different managers in the season and you're still overcoming these different factors and hurdles, that deserves so much credit. I predicted 18th, they finished 18th. Now then, Carlisle United. I predicted 17th, they finished 24th, rock bottom. So I got that one a little bit wrong, didn't I? I genuinely thought Carlisle would have done better, but they just did not have the quality in the end. When it's your first season back into League One, you want to fight for that status in League One for another season. Like Leyton Orient, like Stevenage, like Northampton, they've been fighting this season. But it just seems to me that Carlisle just did not have enough quality. I was very wrong with Charlton. I predicted 5th. They finished 16th. And with that squad, they have massively underachieved this season. But what I will say, under Nathan Jones next season, I think they will cook. They've got a very strong squad, but with a few transfers in the summer, Alfie may be in the top goal scorer League One this season, despite being 16th in the league. That deserves a lot of credit, by the way. I do think they'll do well next season, and me predicting 5th this season, it might be the same for next season. Cheltenham unfortunately got relegated. I predicted them 23rd. They finished 21st, but the same outcome. I basically got it right. I will give him credit because to take it to the final day after starting the season so poorly, not scoring in their first 10 games, and then I was at the one where they actually scored versus Cambridge. That was a good afternoon though with Gordy, the kit man. That was an incredible afternoon despite the result. But from that start of the season, 10 games in, to then get themselves to the final day and have a chance of staying up, they didn't give up, they played with heart, and it all went down to that final game where unfortunately they just fell a little bit short. Moving on to the Rams, Derby County. I predicted them to finish first, top of the league. They finished second. But either way, I predicted the outcome correctly with them getting automatic promotion. A fan base like Derby, a club like Derby, you saw their pitch invasion, it looked absolutely mega. Everyone bouncing around on that pitch, it was superb. And they are a club who deserve to be in a Championship Premier League. They're a big club. Mendes Lang with 25 contributions is incredible. James Collins with 14 goals. Max Bird with 7 assists and 6 goals was vital in that centre midfield. They've had a fantastic season and deserve promotion. This one really surprised me. I predicted Exeter in 20th. They finished 13th. There was a time at Christmas where I genuinely thought they were done for. Relegated, they're done. One of the worst sides I have seen at Cambridge United this season. But out of nowhere, they just kept chipping away at results and getting points. And if you can get a consistent run going, then you're going to be fine in the long run. They ended the season so strongly, winning 6 out of 9. They played with freedom once they knew they were away from the relegation threat. And once you know you're away from that bottom 4, you can play with freedom and not any fear. I genuinely thought they were dead and buried. My prediction was all wrong, but fair play to Exeter. They showed heart, and sticking with the manager, staying loyal, I do respect that. Fair play to all of you. And I will see you at Exeter next season. Now we move on to the Cods, where I predicted them to stay up in 19th place. They ended up in 22nd. Now I am wrong, and I do love Fleetwood after the other day, battering Burton 3-0. I do appreciate that. But unfortunately, it was the Cod Army who are going down to League 2. I think they won on the 11th of November, and they did not win a game again until the 3rd of February. Imagine not seeing your club win for 3 months straight. But ultimately, that was the period which sent Fleetwood down. They ended the season so strongly, but it was too late. I do feel sorry for the Fleetwood fans, especially the loyal ones who do travel home and away. One of the newcomers in League 1, Leyton Orient, I predicted them to finish 14th. They finished 11th. It's a season to be proud of, and they showed real good quality. As I was saying earlier, if you go on a consistent run, they won 7 out of 10 in the middle of the season. That run basically confirmed their safety and another season in League 1 next year. That is all you have to do in this division. You go on a consistent run, get a bit of confidence, you win about 4 out of 7. That's basically you done for the season if you can keep chipping away at points here and there. It just allows you to play with more freedom the longer the season goes on if you can chip away at the points early. Moving on to Lincoln, and I pretty much got it spot on. They finished 7th, and my prediction was 8th, just outside the playoffs, and in fact they were very unlucky to not finish in the playoffs, but then again, we were pretty much spot on. This next one could be up there with Burton as well. So I predicted Northampton to finish rock bottom in 24th. They ended 14th. I could not have been more wrong, and I actually saw the Northampton gaffer the other night at the Wycombe game. I was in the director's box, obviously where the owners are, and where special guests can be involved, like the Northampton gaffer. I should have gone up to him and showed a prediction and where he could just have laughed at me, to be honest. Honestly, what an embarrassing prediction. They deserve to stay up. They fought so well with players like Bowie, Leonard, Hoskins. They always had the quality up top to score the goals and get the point. But the question is, will they still have the same motivation next season, and will they keep these players going into the next campaign? Leonard's on loan, so probably not going to sign. Second season syndrome is always a possibility in League 1, but I'm not going to predict them 24th next season, I'll tell you that now. I was very wrong on this one. Oxford, I predicted them 10th. They finished 5th, didn't they? I was extremely wrong. I'm so sorry. Yep, do apologise. I will say this though, when I uploaded the predictions at the start of the season, as soon as I uploaded that, that's when Oxford went on a shopping spree of signing so many players. So maybe if I knew that and then made the predictions, maybe I would have tied it in a little bit closer. It's hindsight, isn't it? I don't know. Now we are moving on to Peterborough. Right, okay, so I predicted them 11th. They finished 4th. Let's put the neutral cap on. In all honesty, they've had a very, very good season. 4th place, playoffs versus Oxford. In that time, they've won a tin pot trophy. When you see those fixtures at the start of the season, you just cannot be asked for them. But the more you progress in the competition and the more there is a reality of going to Wembley and winning the thing, that's when you actually care. But they won a trophy at Wembley, and I don't think they care about Fusion Josh's opinion. But I am going to continue. They do have a very young, talented squad. Very scary at times. Randall is always a handful, scoring 7, assisting 10. Not forgetting Mason Clark, who signed for Coventry in January. Went back again, scoring 14, assisting 7. They've got some good players, man. The one for me, though, is that Harrison Burrows, the left back. He's pretty much played every single game for them this season, assisting 14. Very creative, up and down the flanks. He's also scored 6 goals in that time as well. He's 22 years old and has come through the Borough Academy and up that way. And yeah, he's a good player, isn't he? Port Vale next, I predicted them 21st. They finished 23rd, and I basically got it bang on there. Relegation, it was bang on, weren't it? Certified. It was a very poor season, and I feel sorry for the fans. Moving on to the champions, Portsmouth. 4-0 written all over it is still on the piss. I predicted Derby and Portsmouth to get up automatically, but I just got them the wrong way round. A ridiculously good season, that's an understatement. Bishop scoring 21 goals, and in that period he was also out injured for a while. But in all honesty, I'm so happy for the club. I hope you have a great time in the Championship, and I wish you all the success. Where do I even start with Reading? I predicted them 13th, but they finished 17th, but let's bearing in mind they've had some point deductions. And if it wasn't for the point deductions, I reckon my prediction would have been bang on. It was a disastrous, toxic start to the season. Fans were against the players, but they weren't really against the players. They were against the people in the top end of the board. They took it out on the players because the results weren't there, but all of a sudden, Sellers just found this togetherness in the squad. The players fought with heart, personality, passion for the badge, and fighting for the club. The players weren't getting paid at one point, but they were still fighting. No wonder why Reading are having a party after the season with the players, manager. They had a great end to the season. No one wants to see a club go bust, and I don't want to speak too soon because I don't think it's all been finalised yet. But for now, I'm very happy for Reading Football Club. The dream duo, Sam Smith, Harvey Nibbs, so many contributions between them this season. They've been a massive key to Reading's survival this year. Lewis Swing is an absolute tank in that midfield, and all of his goals, I think they were just all screamers. Shrewsbury, I predicted them 15th. They finished 19th, just above relegation. It's been a pretty average season for them. They've done the job. They stayed up. There's nothing more to say. Stevenage, now I got them very wrong. I predicted 16th. They finished 9th. Towards the end of the season, Steve Evans did ditch Stevenage for Rotherham, and I don't know how many Kit Kats he was offered to join there, but he took it in a heartbeat, didn't he? They play horrible football, but they've done the job. They stayed in the division, but it was job done. But it will be interesting to see how they do next season. Who will be the new gaffer, and will they have the same motivation next season? And will they keep the players they had this year for next year? That is a big question, I'm not going to lie. Right then, we're moving on to the second last one. Wigan. I predicted them 22nd. They finished 12th. I was so wrong with this, and I deserved all the hate I got at the time. I didn't know at the time that they got taken over by some local business billionaire. Flipping heck, I'm so stupid. But from me to the Wigan fans, it's a formal apology. And I'll tell you what I did discover this season, a Wigan kebab. My word, that's a thing of beauty. And last but not least, Wycombe, I predicted 9th, they finished 10th. And I'm not going to lie, it was quite spot on. Literally missed it by one play. It was a really strong end to the season, winning 4 out of 5. The left back Lee scoring 11, 7 of which were penalties. But he's been such a consistent performer. But that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up the League One season. Of course, we've got the playoffs and the playoff final to go. But the way I look back on this is that I don't think I've had too much of a stinker. Okay, Burton was bad, Northampton was bad, Wigan was bad. But overall, I actually don't think I've done too badly. I got Cambridge spot on, I got Bolton spot on, I basically got Portsmouth, Derby spot on, they got automatically promoted, Port Vale correct, Cheltenham correct and relegation. I'll leave it to you guys, how well did I do? Leave it in the comment section down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.